Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. This is Aqueel. Can you hear the seriousness in my voice? Can you hear how serious it's getting? Because it's getting pretty serious. Aqueel, welcome to another match preview into Cagliari. How are you, my friend, first of all?
Hey man, hi everybody. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm excited. I know we're getting to a point where kind of it's getting a little we're getting a little anxious. Things are getting too close, but we can almost taste it, but it's not fully there. So just that little empty gap in between, man. We just want to cover that.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Nothing is won yet. I think I said something like that in the match title. I've scheduled it, so I haven't seen the title yet, but it's something along the lines of nothing has been won yet, and we need to reiterate that fact well and truly because we've got a tough match coming up on the weekend. A nice early kickoff time for me, but, the nerves are shaky. Cagliari are a team in the relegation zone. And as we've mentioned in the past few games, you don't want to be facing teams fighting the relegation zone because it's like facing a team fighting a Champions League spot or a title run. There's something tangible that needs to exist here, and Cagliari have that motive. Aqueel, what are your initial thoughts going into the match before we start to talk lineups, team news, and prediction?
Yeah, initially, Cagliari was, they're obviously in the relegation zone right now, but they are fighting for it. They're only, I think, 1 or 2 point below Torino. The race, the gap is too little at the bottom. So I think, they're going to push for it. They're going to try to get out. They want to stay in this area. They're going to put up a fight. So it's going to be a tricky game. But I do expect this game to be different than what we just had last time against Sassuolo and Bologna. I think it's going to be a little different dynamic. I think Conte is going to play out a different strategy against this team. And obviously, Cagliari plays a different level of football as compared to Sassuolo's and Bologna. So it's going to be an interesting game, no doubt.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet that you're pretty underlyingly saying there that Conte will come at Cagliari a lot harder. We're not going to give them as much of the ball, much as as much respect as we gave Sassuolo, so to say. I definitely think we stayed more on top of that match because Cagliari just don't really have not only tactically but the manpower as well to go toe to toe with us. This is definitely a game that we can bury before any anxiety period of time. This is a game that you can potentially bury in the first half. There's no reason why Conte wouldn't be saying that. Complacency is not an option at the moment for Antonio Conte or these boys. Sama in the chat says Scudetto secured. No, it's not. That's why it's the title of the video is that nothing has been won yet. So let's just win this game here, and then we can pretty much shoot for the Scudetto against Napoli, because if we were to win that one, it would be over for all money. Gerald says he's been waiting for 18 hours, but it's finally going to start, bro. I don't know if you're talking about this video or about the game itself, but if you're talking about this video, that's mad respect, man, and I'll stick around a little bit longer. Mo's in the house, as per usual. It should be an easy game, in my opinion. I hope so, but there's no such thing as an easy game with this club, but there can be. We've had some games this season against relegation sides, like Benevento, we smacked them up pretty well. Crotone, we won 6-2. Like Aqueel, if there's ever a game for us to just get those last nerves and those last anxious thoughts of all the players out and done, it's by smacking up this team like 3-4-5 zip.
Correct, 100%. And given the mentality of the team right now, Conte said in his post-match against Sassuolo, and he said, every game is worth 6 points right now. That kind of just shows that he's not taking anything lightly. He obviously knew that we were playing Cagliari next. He knows that we got some important games coming up. So for him to say that just kind of gets the player in the right mindset to come out, take this game seriously, bury this game like you said. Early, nice and early, and the stats support that. Our stats against Cagliari do support that. So I expect this to be a good attacking game from Conte. I think he's going to want the team to play in the attacking manner that we have seen so many times. We're going to be keeping the possession mainly. We're going to be taking a lot of shots. I expect about 15-20 shots around this for this game. And like you said, Cagliari doesn't have that kind of manpower to contain this. But again, slip-ups happen, and it's easy to lose focus during this time. This is a crunch time, whether we like it or not. So yeah, definitely need to focus. Nothing has been won yet. 3 points are way important in this game.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'd love to hear that happen. Just have the ball and dominate and take as many shots as possible. Because if I've read correctly, is Cranio missing the game as well through COVID? Bro, take as many shots as you want at this goal. I want Eriksson to shoot. I want everybody on this team to have a few cracks. I want to see some dominance and I want to see some goals in the first half. Franco says Gagliardini, Vecino, Sensi to replace Barella. So now it's a good time to start moving into our predicted 11. Guys, we're recording this a little bit earlier this week. There's still about a day and a half till the game. So no Sky Sports lineups yet, just kind of the predicted news based on our squad health and everything like that. So we've got Handanovic at the bottom, Skriniar, De Vrij. If I'm not mistaken, Bastoni returns. It was only a one-match ban. However, I could be wrong on that. If that's the case, we'll talk about who we should replace him in a second. Hakimi, despite his poor form, I don't think you drop a player like Hakimi against Cagliari, to be honest. It could be one of those games where you redeem yourself against a minnow opponent. We all know how players like to, start off by knocking over a really small opponent and then building their way back into form. The midfield is where it gets tricky, all bar, Marcelo Brozovic said he's back again. So that's why I'm predicting that Bastoni is available, because I'm pretty sure their bookings were pretty much of the same magnitude. An accumulation of yellow cards. Aqueel, is that right?
Yeah, that seems to be the case. I do expect them to be back in the lineup. I think they are available. They just had one match suspension, so Brozovic should slide back into his regular role, and Bastoni as well. And yeah, I mean, if for any reason, I don't suspect any reason for them to sit. Same with Hakimi. I don't see him sitting down for a minute. I think he's going to be the engine. He's going to run that right-hand side all day long.
Yeah, good call, man. Good call. Indra Hari says Eriksson, Sensi, Brozovic midfield. It could happen. Like, Cagliari is a good opponent for that to happen. That's a lot of technicality. We would break down this Cagliari side really, really easy. And all three of those players like a good dig from outside the box as well. If that happens, it'd be fantastic. I just don't see Antonio Conte doing it. Where's the muscle going to come from, Aqueel? Like, where is the muscle going to come from?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. I know we put out our lineup a little earlier. But having said that, I think Gagliardini just has that extra edge over Sensi in terms of physicality, a little better defensive awareness, I would say. It would be a dream to have Sensi, Eriksson, and Brozovic for this match, since Barella is not available, only in that case. But yeah, I think Conte knows, what Gagliardini brings to the table. I think he's going to go with that because being the safer choice.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Ashley Young, Il Grande Ashley, my guy. I love the way he played last week. And just for the record, man, I even went and I was commenting on Uncle Sharma's stream afterwards, because everybody was saying Ashley Young was having a good game, and I was running with it like I do. I don't think we should be extending this guy's contract or anything like that. Okay, I'm just saying that the way that fans talk about Ashley Young, it's like he's shit. He's far from shit. He's quite good. He's very, very aware. He's got such a high footballing IQ. And we bigged him up before last game, and look what happened to Aqueel. He had the game of his season against Sassuolo. I'm more than happy for him to start. He'll probably have a more average game now that he's had a good game. But, once again, if he's given that space against Cagliari on that wing-back position and he's delivering the crosses, man, you don't want anyone else in our team to be delivering those crosses, man. He'll be able to help out a lot.
Oh, definitely. I think he is finding his feet. He's been in good form. He's doing well in the absence of Perisic. I do expect Perisic to sit one more game. I think he has a muscular problem, what was being reported earlier. So yeah, Young, he's been in good form. I don't know. I don't understand the hate. I don't understand why people are, being criticizing him. He had a little small patch of bad form. I would agree with that. But he overall package, he's there. He's got it, man. The
problem is that he's just really mistake prone at the back under a lot of pressure, and he's going to trip someone, or the ball's going to hit his hand a lot. That's the
You
only
can
problem.
see that. You can see that. You know, when he did that handball, when he got that call for that handball, you could see in his eyes, he's like, "Oh man, not again."
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do see that, and I totally agree with that. You know, he is, he's prone to making mistakes, understandingly so, and but he redeems himself. You know, he has the experience to correct it. He has the footballing IQ. Going forward, he's a good threat going forward. You know, he has a great right foot. You know, he'll put in those crosses, pinpoint crosses. You know, he always seems to find players in the box. I
I
would, yeah, go ahead.
Now go on. I was going to say, man, if he was to play his peak or his prime in Italy, he wouldn't take that long to adapt, and he'd be fantastic in this league. I have no doubt about it whatsoever.
100%, 100%. Love the player, love the whole package that he brings and that experience. No hate for him, absolutely nothing.
Mo says Darmian on the left for him. No problem with that either. Darmian, what a pickup, G. Mo, what a pickup, man. 1.5 million from Parma. See, this is a classic situation of manager knows what he wants and it's available at a discount price. So you just go and get it and you trust him. And in a team that was already set up and thriving in a way that Darmian didn't have to be integral. He just had to do his bit in each slot. Look how many positions this guy is able to play for us. We've got someone who can play right wing back, left centre back, right centre back, left back, right back. This is fantastic, man. I'm such a big Matteo Darmian fan since he's arrived at Inter. What about you?
100%. He was phenomenal last game. You know, playing it. I was a little nervous. I was a little skeptical, but he proved me wrong. You know, he proved everybody wrong. You know, and this is what Conte has been saying all along. You know, he wants this team to play as a unit. He wants each player to know and be ready when they're called upon. And that's exactly what he did. You know, he was called upon to play that left side at the center back, and he showed up. He showed up big. You know, he was closing down the defenders. He was closing out the plays before they even started. And, to have that kind of confidence, it tells a lot. It tells a lot about the player. It tells a lot about what this team is willing to do. The trust in your backup center back, the trust in your coach, everything is just clicking at the moment for this team. And Darmian is a huge part of it.
100%, man. I just got a message from Mo, by the way, in our chat. There actually has been like a leaked lineup. I think it looks like Sky. I'm not 100% sure, but we've got Vidal over Gagliardini, and we've got Darmian on the left for Ashley Young. So a nice little bit of rotation here from Conte. I'm going to update that expected lineup, and you know what? That looks pretty good to me, man. Throw Arturo Vidal in there. You know, it's there aren't that many games left in the season, and I said with Christian Rivas, I'm like, bro, he still has a role to play in this Scudetto. 100%. There is something still that he needs to do. Would you agree?
100%. Put Vidal in, it's muscle for muscle. Vidal is going to provide that same quality that Gagliardini does as if in front of the goal. And he's going to be the driving force. He's going to run up and down throughout the game. He's going to provide his great skills. He's going to provide that whole experience, the whole package. Vidal could be a good fit. I mean, if he's ready to go, which he looked like he was on the bench in the last couple of games. We saw him warm up too. So if he's up for it medically, by all means, he's slightly ahead of Gagliardini. He should be ahead of him in the pecking order. So yeah, definitely put him in the mix. And then obviously Darmian, we just talked about him. If he's ready to go on that left side, why not? Definitely. And this is whole part of the luxury we have, the squad depth and these dynamic roles that all these players have. And just to be able to like plug and play these players, and you can do that. That's what we should be really thankful for, that the team that we have assembled this season can do this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Someone wrote, where is Perisic? Man, he must be injured, or he must just be really, really not match fit. He went away to national team duty, played a few minutes with Croatia, and came back and just hasn't been in good shape or good form. So I think at the moment Antonio Conte is running with, all right, if you're at 100% fitness, you've kind of gone to the top of the matchday squad at the moment, because we are looking for a lot of durability. What else have we got? Let's go to a few of the comments here. It's weird that Parma sold Darmian that cheap. Hey, man, if they needed that 1.5 mil that badly, I don't know, bro. It's our game. Gerald says, I feel like Lazzaro and Hakimi aren't that different. I don't know why Conte doesn't want him to come back. That's a tough one because the club's looking for revenue and the club's looking for money now. And Lazzaro's someone that can still probably raise about 15 million of it, to be honest. And if that's the case, well, we don't really need Lazzaro. That's it, because I'm thinking of all the rotational options that Conte would rather use, and I just don't see it happening. Vidal versus Nainggolan. Yeah, we're going to look at the Cagliari lineup just now. So in terms of where Cagliari is going to pose a threat, they'll start with a back three: Rugani, Godin, and I think Walakuix is how you say it. Hopefully, so. Hopefully it's not one of those games where one of our former players comes back to haunt us, because, you know, that doesn't stop there. Duncan will be the anchor of the midfield with Raja Nainggolan to his left, Marin and Nandez to his right, Lykogiannis on the left-hand side as more of a left wing, left mid, and João Pedro and Pavoletti up front. So, you know, pretty similar to the way that Conte is going to line up in terms of shape and tactics. Where do you think the threats could come from there? Obviously, João Pedro. For me personally, I just want to see Nainggolan put on his ass, bro. I want us to dump this guy on his ass. I want him to struggle. I want him to look up at us and go, that could have been me with my last chance to lift a Scudetto, and here I am going down to fucking Serie B.
That's exactly my thought. You know, when I was reading the news about Cagliari, I was like, man, you know, Nainggolan, he's probably itching to go at this game, but, you know, yeah, it's not gonna be that. You know, he's gonna face a very, very tough challenge. You know, our midfield, our defense has been rock solid. You know, he's gonna be shut down. You know, I feel bad for the player. You know, you could have had, you know, something with Inter, but, you know, it just wasn't meant to be. You know, he was, I don't know if he was not in the right state of mind. You know, Conte just didn't see that in him, that hunger anymore, I feel. And, you know, it's rather unfortunate, but I think it kind of worked out for us. And that's the funny thing about football right now. You know, you got to stay on top of it, especially when you're playing for Conte. You know, Conte is not a man who's going to take 90% effort. You know, he's not going to half-ass it. He's going to want 101% from every single player in his squad. So if you're not giving that to him, he's going to ship you right out. But as far as like the threat, you know, I do expect Nainggolan to like have a little bit of grit. You know, he's going to try to take a few shots from like 1,500 yards out or something like that. But, you know, it's not going to work for us. João Pedro is going to obviously cause some trouble. He always does. He has that little bit of, you know, flair. He's going to try to get into those tricky positions. But you know what? Again, statistically speaking, we do take care of business against Cagliari pretty easily, historically as well. So a few threats here and there, but our defense has been rock solid. So we should be able to minimize that. We should be able to take the game on, and we should be able to score plenty of goals against them.
100%. Big shout out to the 15 people that are in here watching right now. So please drop a like on the video as well. Lukaku and Lautaro up front, no questions about it. A goal each last week. Perfect. At the moment, if you were to say to me, Anthony, who do you want to score goals more than anyone in your team, even though you love to see players who don't score often, I'd just go straight away. I'd be like, I want Lukaku to score and I want Lautaro to score. I want them to keep going, because if this striking pair, Aqueel, continues to build confidence at this rate, holy shit, they can only get better and better, bro. And next season, they'll score even more goals. If they can finish this season strong, really positive, both of them in the top 5 goal scorers. Obviously, Lukaku will be. I think Lautaro will be as well. What do you think?
Yes, 100%. I love the pair. And the way they've been playing recently, man, they are unstoppable. Lukaku already at 21 goals. Lautaro has already reached a milestone with 15 goals, and we still have 9 games to go. And you know, the beautiful thing about this pair is that they love feeding the ball to each other. When they're in the open space, they have one eye on the other player. They're looking in front of the goal, but they're keeping an eye on the other player, and they go for that easy kill. They go for that easy shot. And that just tells us, like, you know, how confident they are in each other, and they feed off each other. And this is an amazing striking duo. I think, again, going into this game, they will start. I think they should both get a goal piece. I think Lukaku will score. I think Lautaro should also score. No question about it, man.
Yeah, hope so, man. Paveletti going to play and need to keep him quiet. Yeah. He is a very good player, man. And the way he plays off João Pedro, it is quite similar to the way that we play up top as well. But honestly, with Bastoni back, Skriniar and De Vrij, these guys aren't a brick wall, man. They're a collapsing building on forwards, man. Like, honestly, our defenders come for you. They don't wait. They don't sit there and wait for you. They come for you. And I'm loving it. I'm loving Skriniar. Skriniar's form at the moment, I dare say, bro, I would be fearing him more than any other centre-back in the league if I was a forward. He would be the one I'd be worried that could do the most damage physically to me while still getting the ball and playing it back out. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Skriniar, he's been amazing. He found his form just at the right time, struggling a little bit earlier, but, he is in tremendous form as of late. And out of the back three, I think he's our number one guy, clearly. But as a whole, the unit, the back three, they play so well together. And there is, I don't see them crumbling this game at all. I think they're going to hold the line pretty well. They're going to come at the strikers. I think they're going to take the ball, not let them have too much space. And it's going to be a different game. Like we said earlier, it's not going to be a game where we're going to sit back too deep. We're not going to take too much pressure from Cagliari. I think we're going to keep the ball in the middle of the park. We're going to keep the possession. So it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be an attractive game, like most of the fans like to see. It's going to be a good footballing. Yeah.
I hope so too, man. Perisnich, what's up, my guy? Thank you for taking time out of being the funniest guy into Twitter to come and comment here. I want Lukaku as the top assist man. Bro, if he ends up with anywhere near the top assists in Serie A and the amount of goals he's scored this season, the whole world, it's a shame, Aqueel, that you can go to the Premier League, play for a club like Manchester United and just very unfairly be judged the way Lukaku was, man, because even now, he has to do so much to still earn the respect of everybody, not just in Italy, but in the outside realm of football. People still don't take him as seriously as they should.
Yeah, no, they don't. And it's very unfortunate, very sad. He was at Manchester United. He did his part. I don't understand the fans, the mindset of the fans. Like, what did you expect him to do? Put a bullet up somebody's ass? Like, I don't know what they wanted him to do. He was doing what the coach was asking. The Manchester United during his time wasn't that great. Okay.
Still scored a lot of goals, bro.
He did the part. He did what the coach was asking of him to do. He was doing everything. But now, since he's here, now we'll just talk about his contribution to Inter. Let's do that. So he is obviously the top 5 strikers in the world for sure. Everybody agrees. And he has evolved so much as a striker in this season. If you just talk about this season, his first touch, his back against the goal, you talk about him beating the defenders off the ball. He can do pretty much everything. And being, the big guy, the big Hulk looking guy he is, he is extremely versatile. He already has 21 goals. He already has 9 assists. Puts him in the top of the assist table. There's nothing you can't ask more from this guy. And I think
but we don't. And you know what he starts to do now? He's starting to become the best defender at set pieces as well.
Oh man, yeah, you can't go past him. You put the ball you put a cross in the box, he's gonna clear it out. He's gonna throw that one back in the midfield. Yeah, he's been great. And Conte is obviously getting a little annoyed with all the media questions regarding Lukaku. They always ask him like, hey, what do you think of Lukaku? How is he doing? Is he is he up to the expectations? And he always tells them, look, this player is doing everything. He is, the main piece of our attack. He is doing everything. Stats don't lie. You can look at his performance. I mean, if people, I know a lot of people talk shit about him against the Sassuolo game. Sassuolo game was very different. We played a very different game. There wasn't a moment where you could highlight a single person or a single player's contribution in that game. That game was won as a unit. Everybody chipped in. Everybody played their role. That's why, when we were talking about it, we couldn't really come up with a man of the match performance because we were like, hey, Lukaku had a good statistical game, but Skriniar had a great game as well. And so did everybody else. Darmian. Yeah. Everybody did. So it's really sad to see people, criticizing Lukaku, for whatever reason that they do. It's totally unfair. I think he is genuinely going to be one of the best strikers in the world. He already is, and he's just going to get better. He's still going to get better.
Yeah, 100%, man. Gerald's been saying João Pedro scored 13 goals in 29 games, Pavoletti 3 goals and 2 assists in 25 games. Look, the defenders will need to be on task, but they've come up against tougher challenges this season and they've pulled through. So nothing but faith there. We are linked to Chanagalu now, free but asking for about 5 to 6 mil per year. What do you guys think? Look, I actually think he's quite overrated. I'm not his biggest fan. We also don't need another Eriksson, a poorer Eriksson, in my opinion as well. I don't see where he'd be used in the rotation. The only plus I would see to that is once we do get on top of these other teams, I'm all for adopting that strategy where you start picking off their best players to make them weaker. It's how you assert domestic dominance. It's how Bayern Munich murder teams underneath them. It's how Paris do it. It's how Juventus have done it as well. I wouldn't mind us being the bullies for a change. Maybe not for Chanagalu, though. Maybe for a couple of other players. But what are your thoughts on Chanagalu, and would you agree in principle with what I've said, Aqueel?
100%. I don't rate the midfielder as that high. You know, he has some. You know, he has had some moments of some greatness, but whatever. I don't rate him that high. I don't think we're gonna chase him. I think there are many other players out there, midfielders that that can actually benefit this team, that can actually come in the team and be a part of something that Conte wants to build. Even if it's like picking the best player out of other teams, there are players like DePaul. There are players like, I think we should be addressing the bigger needs that are on the left side. We talked about Gosens. If we are to capture those players, I think that will be a huge plus. But yeah, I mean, in all fairy tale story, if he was to come, sure, he's not gonna start, that's for sure. Yeah, he's not gonna break that starting 11. But why not?
Yeah, 100%, man. Will Cagliari be finally the time Eriksson at least gets a goal or assist in the league? So a lot of the time leading up to the game, I start to visualize in my head how I think we can score the goals. And for this one, I keep getting flashes of Eriksson just getting the ball on the outside of the area and just hitting it and scoring. I really think so, Perisic, bro. I really want this to be the game where Eriksson gets so much of the ball with so much time to do what he wants. But I don't know, man. He kind of goes missing as like a silent agent a lot of the time at the moment in this new Regista role, where he's kind of just contributing a lot to the build-up play, but not as effectively as Brozovic would or an informed Sensi would. But I'm still really glad that he is doing well, learning, adapting. He's happy here. Conte's happy with him because he can still only get better in this league. This league is now tailored to his abilities because his speed is going to start to decline. His agility will start to decline. But now he's got time to work towards his strengths a little more, which are playing those technical passes and just overall building up the game. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, and Eriksson, in the last few games has shown that patience, the patience on the ball, the calmness that he's shown. I think what he's going to do probably in this game is have a lot of ball control. He's going to move the ball a lot. And then I expect him to take a few shots. I think, he's the type of player that likes to shoot, because he believes in that right boot. He likes to take those long shots and he backs them up. He's actually a good shooter. So, it'll be great for him to score from outside. It'll be great for the team. I hope he does that. But, again, he's evolved again, in Conte's system. We have to understand, the guy came in during the winter transfer window. He didn't go through that military style regiment that all other players went through the season before when Conte took over.
Oh, I've lost your audio, man.
Yeah, sorry about.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, sorry about that. All right. So he really evolved as a player. He settled himself into the system. Conte trusted him by putting him in the team. He trained hard. He played hard. He did everything. He did everything that the coach asked of him to do. So now he's ready. Now he gets a lot of playing time. He plays multiple roles. He backed up to Brozovic against Sassuolo last game. He did okay. He's going to play his usual role in this game. And, he's a good player. He's going to show his abilities, whether it be this game, it's going to be in the coming games, it's going to be next season. He has the quality, so he's going to show up for sure.
Yeah, awesome, man. Franco was saying exactly what was on my mind when the previous when I think Indro Hari asked about Chanagalu. Bro, oh sorry, Gerald asked about Chanagalu. Yeah, that was in my head. Let's go for Kessier instead. That's an Antonio Conte player for
Yeah.
you, like left, right, center, up, down, side to side. That's a player that Conte would be licking his lips over at the moment, man. It's Gagliardini on steroids. So that would be, if I was to pick one player at Milan to take at the moment, I would take Kessier. Not only for no, pretty much because of how tactically well Conte would use him. What would you think?
Yes, yeah, Kessié, definitely. If there was any player that I could pick out of this Milan team, it would be Kessié. Again, because he will add value to this midfield. He will add value to this Conte side, and Conte would use him in a way that he wants to because he adds that muscle. He has a good passing quality. I think he's their penalty shooter as well. He's their first choice. So, he has good skills. He's a good tough player. Runs up and down the field the whole 90 minutes, doesn't get tired. He's a Conte type of player. So that's the only player I would take from this Milan team if I was to pick one player.
100%, man. How can this, Kessie, that? We need Rodrigo De Paul. Yeah, look, he'd still be the number one name on my list. Actually, probably two. I really, really want Gossens on the left-hand side. But going back to what Indro was saying, any chance get Nandez if Cagliari is relegated? Possibly there could be a fire sale on at Cagliari if they do get relegated. Maybe we can work out a deal where we can keep Nainggolan in Sardinia in Serie B and we can take either Nandez or João Pedro off their hands. But look, to be honest, I don't know what will happen to Raja Nainggolan if they get relegated. I highly doubt even someone with as low ambition and motivation as him at the moment would want to stoop as low to Serie B. Surely he wants to come back to Serie A, and if that's the case, we'll probably just end up selling him off for a really low fee. I'm talking like someone can pick up this guy for 5 to 7 million if they want him. What do you reckon, Aqueel?
Yeah, that's going to be the case. He's definitely not going to play for Serie B side. And if he comes back, his value is already dropped. He's really shot himself in the foot. And again, rather sad. This his whole story. So yeah, if he comes back, he's if we could use him as a bargaining chip for another player, why not? There's Nainggolan, there's Godin. I don't know what the contractual details was for Godin, but there's a couple of players that that they have from us. If he can get Nandes, he's a decent player. I don't know. Again, he will be a third string choice for the midfield. Don't see him, breaking into this lineup. But again, we will need that depth. We will need these players to come in for multiple and various competitions that we'll be taking part in. But as for Nainggolan, yeah, I don't see him returning to us. He's definitely going to be sold for a cheap price, bargain price to a mid-table team.
I see him going to Fiorentina for some reason. That's all I see in my head.
That's the team I had in mind. I swear to God, I was thinking Fiorentina. For the minute you said it, I was like, oh, he's going to Fiorentina. It's for some reason, yeah. But I think I read something that Bologna was also interested in him. I'm not too sure. I'm not 100% on that, so somebody can check that for us. That'd be great. But yeah, definitely his future is elsewhere. And again, his whole situation, his whole story is rather sad for me. I liked the player when we got him.
I loved the player, bro, when we signed him. He was one of my favorite players in Serie A, and it's just so bad.
Yeah, I was very, very excited for him. I was like, you know what? Now we have a good quality midfielder. It's gonna that toughness. That I think we were missing that toughness from that midfield when we got him. So I was very happy. But it's rather sad how it ended.
Fair enough. There's now 22 people in here, so make sure you like the video and leave a comment, contribute to the chat. I'll stick around if people are still talking. That's my courtesy to you. Mo says 3-0 Inter. Bruv, that's what I want. I want 3-0 halftime. I want 3-0 halftime and then just put everyone behind the ball for the second half. I do not care. Indro, 3-2 for Inter. Our ex-player's going to score like always. Bro, 99% of the time I would say yes. But if we let this lazy Nainggolan score against us, I'll have the shits, man, to be honest. And there is no reason why Diego Godin should be scoring from a set piece against us. Okay, definitely not. Cagliari will try to attack. Yep, definitely. Mo said it because they're fighting relegation. They can't be happy with a point at this stage of the season. The thing is that their build-up and the way that they will attack us will sit quite well into our hands, I think. And being able to play against Cagliari on the break, Mo, I think we'll just be able to be a lot more effective than we were against Sassuolo. Giulione says Cranio not available. Yep, we touched on that, man. It's going to be that's good news for us, because not only is Cranio one of the most informed keepers in the league, he definitely would be wanting to have the game of his season against us. Nandez can be a backup for Barella, 100%. Look, our midfield's still very solid this season. I dare say we're only maybe one really, really good midfield signing away for having like the full-blown depth that we need, Aqueel. It would just be a question out of who of your Vidal, Vecino, Nainggolan, and Vidal do you let go? Nainggolan would obviously be a shoo-in, but out of the next three, you probably have to free up some cap space somewhere, man.
Yeah, and some players will have to go, and I do see Vecino departing this offseason. He's again, he provides a little bit of, muscle, you can call it that, but yeah, he's not the quality that we need at the moment. He's been very rusty. You got to give him credit you got to give him a little bit of leeway on that, but he's not a player that Conte is going to want, when we're playing, for a bigger title or playing in the Champions League. You don't want Conte to put players like Vecino in the lineup. So yeah, Vecino I think is going to ship out. Nainggolan is, he's not going to be around for next season. I'm not too sure about Vidal though. I think we tried too hard to get him, so it'll be rather unfortunate if you just let him go. I think we'll keep him. I think we'll give him a renegotiated contract, try to keep him on the books, just to have him as a good, solid muscle backup midfielder, for multiple competitions that we're going to be parting in. So I see Vidal staying, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex C., who would you like to replace Handanovic? Samer says Areola. He's been crying that name all season. He would be a good replacement for him, to be honest. Look, I don't know if it's a conversation I even want to have right now, because I just want Handanovic to get this Scudo for himself this season, and then we can discuss it later. It's obviously not going to be Radu, to be honest. Otherwise, we would have seen an injection in playtime for him this season. Nadim says Raja plus cash for Vlahovic. Vlahovic would be a fantastic vice Romelu Lukaku if Vlahovic is happy to sit the bench regularly. These sort of players that are hitting form at the moment, I don't know if they're going to be willing to take a spot on the bench. Vlahovic is quite young. He wants his playtime. Maybe it's easier to convince your Luis Muriel to play vice Lukaku, who I would be okay with as well. Gang business, Uncle Sharma in the house. Funny how I joined you as soon as you start talking about Raja. Yeah, your ears must have just pricked up in Leicester out of nowhere. You must have been like, oh, someone's talking about Raja. I feel it. What do we got here? Sarri rejected the Fiorentina offer. Weird, since their squad is fit for Sarri. But yeah, pretty good point. What else? We're linked to Lucas Vazquez from Real Madrid. He would come to play right wing back because he could play right wing, right mid, and right back. Yeah, I remember doing a live or doing a podcast with Christian Rivas and Mario, and I'm like, it was around about the time we were playing Real Madrid, and I'm like, why is Lucas Vazquez playing right back? I could have sworn I signed him as a right wing forward on FIFA like 2 years in a row. And he's quite versatile on that. He just loves that right-hand side. He's married to that right-hand side. And if he's available on a free transfer, which I'm reading, I wouldn't mind him. I got to admit, I've paid barely any attention to La Liga this season, so I actually haven't watched the full 90 minutes of a Real Madrid game, apart from when they played in the Champions League. So
he's a good player. He's made that right side, for himself at Madrid, and he's been good for them. One of the things that kind of because he's been playing well, he's getting a lot of attention from other teams as well. So despite being him for free this summer, I think there is going to be a lot of flies flying over him, trying to get him to sign for them. It'll be a tough competition. So realistically, I don't see that happening. I think we're going to stick with Hakimi. Maybe get another backup, but we have some versatile players, to cover that void on that right side if needed. So I don't think the right side is really an important position to cover right now. What I'm really worried about is on the left side, and I think you mentioned it beautifully. Coulson is top choice. I think we should be, if we have to dish out a few extra, here and there, make that happen. That's your long-term solution to that left side.
Yeah, fair enough. Mo says I'm not a big fan of Vlahovic. He's not Inter level. Fair enough, man. It's just I think Conte has proven to me that his ability to develop players is, to me, I've never seen it in a manager before. the way he's, where we were at the end of November compared to where we are now is quite good. And where we are from January to where we are now is even better. We've just kept taking leaps and leaps, and every player seems to be tactically developing into a perfectly oiled cog in a machine that's just brand new. And so I'd have a lot of faith that whoever we bring in, Conte would be able to utilize them to the full potential. Nandez in, Gagliardini and Vecino out. Cheap option to replace Honda is Consigli. Nah. See, the thing is, man, I'm quite used to Handanovic and his ability to communicate with the back three really, really well. I don't see Consigli being that sort of goalkeeper for us, but you never know. Samir says we need a backup for Lula. Pinamonti is simply not good enough. Not only that, bro, and I've said this before, I kind of don't care now who we bring in because I just want them to play. I want them to be utilized. I don't want deadwood. I don't want players like Pinamonti sitting on the bench not getting any minutes at all. That's all I want. What about you, Aqueel?
No, that's the same thing. You want to bring a player that can add, value. First of all, definitely, you don't want to get any player deadwood or any player that is not going to come in or play the minutes that in the game or give the backup to Lukaku or Lautaro. I like the Fiorentina guy. He's a type of player that can come in and, again, Conte has shown during his time that he is a coach that can develop players, that can instill his ideas and his ideology into the players, and the players listen to him. They respect him. And we've seen that with so many of our players. You look at Lukaku himself. Lukaku has evolved a lot under Conte. His backup against the goal technique, his Lautaro, he's obviously only 23 or very young. He's also developing into this great player. And that it all happens, with the right coach and the right management, the right structure. And then we have that in place. So any striker we get as a backup to Lukaku, we have to make sure that they add great value to this striking partnership. We don't want to get anybody that, devalues our situation, because we want to build on this. If we win, when we win the Scudetto, we want to make sure that we build onto this and we don't degrade ourselves. We just want to take one step forward and keep going up.
100%. Dark Lord, what's up, man? Always returning. Wish I knew your real name. Your thoughts on that famous account that started to push a trend saying Inter play ugly defensive football? Bro, to that, I would ask which account, because there's at least 15 to 20 that I've seen on Twitter, and pretty much every mainstream media outlet has just said what's really obvious in front of us. We're sitting back, trusting our players, and we're collecting points. It's ugly. I know. It's also not the first time in football that it's happened. It's been happening for a long time. We created more goal scoring opportunities than any team in Serie A, and we were top 3 in Europe up until 5 weeks ago. We did the hard yards, and I know the Dark Lord's probably as frustrated as I am, but like at the end of the day, it's only haters and other fans that are starting to say, we play ugly. My favorite is when the Juventini come out and say, you guys are playing disgusting football and playing ugly. Mate, what was your style under Allegri all those years? Come on.
You said it right. That's perfect example. I hate these criticisms. If you don't see that, we're getting the job done. We're in the league. We are leading the league by a double-digit point. And our style of play has changed based on our opponents. Calculated risk, calculated tactics by Conte throughout the season. We have the most amount of shots in Serie A. We have the most amount of goals. I think we're in the number 1 or number 2 in terms of scoring goals. So we're getting the job done. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong with our style of play. If we have to sit back and trust our defense is as much of a part of the team as our strikers. If we can't trust our defenders and defend well, what good a team are we if we can't do that?
Exactly.
And it's all part of it. Good defense is a strong offense. That's what every coach says that, in any sport. So for anybody to say that, to criticize that, I think they're jealous. I think they're not liking the way we're playing. It doesn't matter, man. We are getting the job done. We have the double-digit lead over our second place team, and we are well on our way. I don't care how it happens.
You play to your team's strengths, man. At the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says. We've got the best defense in the league, and that is where the foundations of Conte's system starts. And he backs his back three like no tomorrow why would he not just play to the strengths of the rest and just, adapt with the rest of the side, which is pretty much what he's been doing. But let's move on a little bit. We've been going for 45 minutes, which is a little long for a match preview, but everyone's having a good time. So that means I'm having a good time. Gerald says priority in the summer transfer window should be Gosens. Yes. Yes, it should. Because if you end up signing Gosens with this team, you win the league again next season. For sure. He is that good of a player. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. He will be the #1 target. I really, really hope Juventus don't go out and sign him. However, if I don't think Juventus have got the budget to sign the 2 world-class midfielders they need, because Alexandro still does a fine job for them. Danilo's having a really good season for them, to be honest, and has adapted quite versatile defensively. Bernardeschi seems to be favoured to be dropping back into a more wing-back role. We've even seen Chiesa play deeper. Are Juventus really going to put 40 million euros or 35 million euros down for Gosens?
Don't see that happening.
It's a bit of a waste. I know they've loved to waste their money over the last few years, but they really need to fix that midfield. I think Gosens is up for grabs for us, considering we need a left wing back more than any other position. Conte identified this. It's even been publicly made that the only request Conte didn't get was the left wing back. However, he's stupidly happy with the way Ivan Perisic has adapted. So I think we're gonna go for Gosens, bro. I think we're going for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we're the only team that's going to go for him, to be really honest, in Serie A for sure. Juventus, I don't see them splashing that kind of money on the left back. I think they're pretty much set. I think they're going to go with their same system. I think they're going to need to invest in that midfield, get something going. I think that's what Pirlo, wants to do that as well. Obviously he was a terrific midfielder. He wants to build that team around in that midfield too. So I don't see that happening at all. The only team realistically that's going to go for him is us, and we've shown our interest in him. I think he's not going to come cheap. It's going to be a long discussion, negotiations, and we're all used to that. We're all seeing that. Being Inter fans, we've witnessed that 100 times. But this time we know that we are serious. We are in business. We know Marotta. He's going to work his magic. He's going to try to work out a deal. He's going to get this done, and if we get him. Like you said, we're definitely on our way next season for sure. If we get him, that's a huge upgrade for us.
100%, man. We're just going to fly through these last comments in order to finish up today. If we get this many people engaged, man, I've still got some time before kickoff. Might even do some pre-match talk. Someone said it best. They just hate seeing us win. But at the end of the day, everybody hates seeing all of their rivals win. And as I've said, I think a few fans, especially the ones in black and white, they're having a bit of an existential crisis at the moment because they just don't really know how to adapt. But, I'll just stay calm for a couple more weeks. Ugly football, Inter build up from the back, beat the press, quick transition, and create a lot of chances. For sure, it's not ugly. I hear you, bro. Trust me, we hear you. Most of the fans with a brain hear you. I know that there's still a small percentage of the fans that are really, really against our style of play. However, it's turning results this season. This is a league that Conte knows better than anywhere else in the world. So he knows exactly what he's doing. We won the UCL playing ugly. Milan and Juve fans are just salty and love watching them cry every day on social media. 100%, bro. Let's hope it stays consistent. And the left wing back is not Juventus's priority. Yeah, 100%, bro. They've needed to fix that midfield for a long time, so they really should focus on that. Aqueel, my bro, thank you so much for joining me for another fantastic match preview. Let's just do the dirty work. Prediction, my friend.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, and it's my favorite segment, of course. Prediction. Going into this, I really looked at the stats. I really looked at how Inter and Cagliari have played when they played against each other. It's some interesting stats are up there on our website if you guys want to check it out in the match preview. We score a lot against this team. Average 2.1 goals per game against Cagliari. That's a good average.
Yeah.
Recent times, history favors us boldly. I think we're very well. We play very well against Cagliari, but at the same time, we have to be very careful. They will come at us, but we have to make sure that we do our best defensively. Going forward, I think the prediction for this game, it's going to be fireworks. It's going to be 3-0. It's going to be Lukaku. It's going to be Lautaro. And that third goal, I'm gonna give that to Gagliardini for this match. I freaking hate it, but I think I will, because if he's gonna play, I think he'll find a way to score.
He's definitely still got a goal or two in him against a shitty opponent this season, man. I'd love to do the anti-jinx, but I can't do it. I'm going to save my anti-jinx for Napoli. I'm going to save it for them, because 3-0 is the scoreline that I think that we can win by again today. I don't think we run out early. I think we score that first goal in the first half. We'll give it to Lukaku. And then, Cagliari have a short period of time where they wake up and we go, come on, just wear it out. Goal on the break, all Dunskies. I think Lautaro grabs another goal, and you know what? I have a feeling that once we are comfortably at 2-0, one of the forwards come off and Alexis Sanchez grabs a goal as well. We're still going because Uncle Shama, just when I was out, he pulled me back in. Thoughts on the fourth kit? It's ugly. It's so ugly. I can't do it, man. And I'm trying to think of no, it's modern. It might look good on a sunny day. I've got some white shoes. Nah, not happening, bro. I can't do it, man. What about you, Aqueel?
No, Zip, nothing good to say about that. I don't know. They we obviously, the fourth kit is something that they like to get creative with, but that it's a little too much. I feel like it's not the right material for us.
Yeah, me too, bro. Me too. It's just a little too much for it, but we'll see what happens with next season's kits. I'm very, very curious to see with the new logo and the new designs what they'll look like. All right, guys, we're going to check out here from all of us at Inter Worldwide. We will speak to you very soon. Forza Inter. Ciao, ragazzi.
Bye.